Alright, bang. In this video, I'm going to try to present you the reason why the next opening, um, like tomorrow morning's opening, if you're watching this tonight, could have our fate in its hands. But first, I want to talk. And there's been a lot of skepticism over uh, my back test opinion. Well, I received the same criticism when I argued that 5 cents were great, and then again, I got the same criticism or skepticism, whichever way. Uh, kind of both ways. When I argued that 3 cents would break, and no, bro, 3 cents ain't breaking, bro. Like, you crazy, bro. Like, but it did. And supports and resist, support resistance lines. It's it's a support slash resistance line, and it's slash resistance line. And and in no attempt to mislead or confuse anybody, nor to contradict my own bullishness. But I'm gonna sit right here again, and I'm gonna tell you this time with real words. 0.0155 will be tested. 0.0155 will be tested. I really feel like it's 0.015. Okay, and I think that's the magical number. But 0.0155 would be plenty good enough, and it's at the minimum. That's what I want to call out. It's going to retrace to at least 0.0155. There's three different ways that it can happen. Okay, there's three different timelines that it can happen, but it's in interest of every investor for that time frame to be as short as possible for obvious reasons. If that line is gonna prevent anything until it's tested, obviously we want to go ahead and get that done. Um, I, I've never heard of just a resistance line, just a support line, and it's called a support slash resistance line. The slash is key because, like, in reality, it's just a line that represents the end of price movement. Like, at that particular price level, you start seeing a a pattern of that price level being where that line is. That's kind of where the support and resistance line come from. It's not like you just pick one candle, but it's a resistance slash support. So it's a resistance line um, as long as you're south of it. But the moment that you break it, the moment um, it becomes a support line, and that's instantaneously, like without regard to whatever, no regard to the news or the narrative. All right. Bitcoin is probably the best example. All right. News news is a powerful tool when it comes to trading and investing and stuff. Right? But actually, let me take you to Bitcoin's chart real quick. I'm not going to do any kind of TA on Bitcoin, but I just want to show you something. All right, it's just recent history, right? After all of this, now I'm talking about $3,000, $60,000, right? $65,000. So that's a lot. Well, where did and some of you I'm sure follow Bitcoin. Some of you I'm sure probably don't. So, um, where in your opinion, this chart, did Elon Musk announce that they would accept Tesla or accept Bitcoin for Tesla? That's good news. Like, obviously, that would run the chart up. That's when you expect. That's the kind of news headlines you would expect down at these areas, But that's not the case. Bitcoin announced it would accept Tesla and bought all this Tesla, or like you said, would accept Bitcoin and bought all this Bitcoin, and that was up here $40,000. $40,000. Um, just last week, China announced for the third time, mind you, that it was banning Bitcoin and mining, and so well, where that come from? Right there, same level. What's so important about this level? Something pretty important about it, right? What that tells me is that's going to be a support level in the future. That's what that tells me. Two biggest news events surrounding Bitcoin this year at the exact same price level. Just because we go back and we test the support level, okay, that has no bearing on what is going on with TLSS at that present moment. Okay, nothing to do with it, like whatsoever. It has everything to do with the chart, and why the chart matters so much is TLSS. And this guy, all right, for a couple of years, they wasn't even doing this. Look, the only money the government gets from them is taxes. Okay, um, these hedge funds and stuff, TLSS don't pay them at all. There's no transactions. That's why the chart is superior to the company because the elite redeem their status. The retail traders make it happen. Okay, this is the area for bad news. This is the area for good news. That was some really, really good news we got right now. Mind blowing news in a way. I mean, I definitely could uh, and have like kind of pictured that something similar to that playing out, but I definitely figured that would be after uplisting, after another acquisition or two. Um, Definitely did not anticipate in any kind of way for it to be so soon. That's kind of strange to me. I'm not second guessing it in any kind of way, but it is kind of strange to me that such bullish news would come out. Such bullish news at the bottom. Um, I I kept saying, once there is no excitement until we break 0.016. Once we break 0.016, then there's definitely a reason to start becoming excited. But not until we clear 0.02 could we become excited and truly excited. Okay, I said that I don't know many times. Well, news, like, outside of the news, a lot of the comments in on Reddit have not been geared towards the news itself. Okay, it just a lot of the comments had to do with just price movement, and all that bullishness started once we tested and crossed 106. I knew, I knew that level was going to bring some excitement. Okay, and it's a very big level, and I don't think we're going to lose. Mm-hmm. If we go ahead and we just go ahead and back to 0155 now this week. So like tomorrow. Oh, hopefully, opening bell, we will go out and. Mm, I'm really having trouble with this one, man. All right. I don't want to get too far ahead or too far behind. I knew 0.016 was going to be expensive, as well it is. But I also understand the severity of crossing this range to uh, like solidify this holding true, playing out. Once we get over this area, we don't have to worry about this area no more. We only have to worry about this area, right? So now we're putting some boundary between us, some cushion between us, and this this level breaks by 4 decimal places, fraction of a penny, right? This level breaks, we're going down. Here we go. Let's go ahead and test this one. We break this level. I keep referencing this. This is really, really, really important. Um, every day, but especially every week that passes, I see the importance in this structure more and more. Don't let your excitement get the better of it. Okay? It's definitely an exciting time. Everything we've thought about, planned for, predicted, I still feel like come to will come true. Okay, but when could um when could vary greatly. I hope you, and it's completely up to you, under get to understand at the end of this video the importance of this structure. That's all I want to talk about. All I want to talk about in this video as far as TA goes, this structure right here. Everything else matched up. I mean, we went over it, and we've shown the similarities in support lines and resistance lines, and uh, just shape and everything. Time frames pretty similar. All of it. We're not out of the woods until something changes, right? The history does not have to repeat itself, but it tends to, right? In the stock market in particular, it really tends to repeat itself because what good are you doing? I mean, unless you're just a forever holder of everything. Some people are, and that's great. Power to them, and I wish I could. I can't. You can. You chances are, and we're not going to just hold on to anything we buy forever. So so realizing that we have to kind of make some sort of predictions. None of us are fortune tellers. None of us have crystal balls, but we do have the past. So that's why history continues to keep repeating itself, because we want to predict our exits and our entries, and only have the past to do so. Until something in this whole structure, until something changes, it is the exact same. We've got to break this level. If we don't, we are still, no matter how long it takes, it's the price levels that matter. Until we break this level, we are still following this structure. It's important. It's very, very important for you to understand. That's the difference of excitement. I mean, obviously, you go ahead and you buy in at 2 cents, expecting 10 cents, right? Well, that's a 5x. So you that's not a bad trade. Why wouldn't you go ahead and do it? Like, you just got a bonus from work, or you just got an insurance check back, or who knows? Pay raise, whatever it is. 5x is reasonable, especially as fast as this chart moves. This chart moves. So why not buy it? 2 cents is a very good buy. But when you just had 1.5 cents and you're fixing to have 1.5 cents, well, that's a lot there too. Um, that was a 12%, 12.5% or something like that. What what I'm saying is yes, this is a time for excitement. This is the time for buying. Okay, if this continues to play out, this level gets reached again or broken, is the time to buy. It's for newcomers, anywhere you get in here, fantastic buy. Absolutely awesome entry point for you, in my opinion. But for those of us that's had these opportunities, to average down, uh, don't ruin your progress of averaging down by chasing the green candle. Uh, so in my last video, I talked about the Fibonacci relationship between this structure and this structure. So I'm not actually going to do that this time. We kind of works, but as far as Fibonacci goes, from the bear markets to predict their highs, we know about where our top should be. We know about what the retracement should be. But there's something else that's pretty interesting. And, using previous fractals, and I don't get to do that very often, but I've used them on this structure before, and I think several people um, liked that representation of it. Could see it a lot clearer than just looking across a chart, and that's why I like them myself. But there's a lot more than meets the eye in these two cameras. Or more than meets the eye in we almost did what, like my video talked about. We almost did it today. We got up to 2 cents, and then we crashed, and that's where my Fibonacci took us to in relation to the bear market, right? And in relation to this type of movement compared to this bear market. And so we reached out to what Fibonacci said, just off of history, would be the top. That's not a support or resistance level in comparison. It's just Fibonacci relationship. So that's what we reached out to it today, and we retraced pretty dang close to it. We still got a day or two, and I really feel like by this weekend we'll kind of know. We'll kind of it'll be less 50-50 anyways, whether we're gonna be recreating this or if we're going to just be up. And now I will say, even if this plays out, that doesn't mean the entire thing has to. Like I said closer to the beginning of this video, we're, we're still in this same setup until something changes. Uh, we don't have to follow this fully, but we might. Who knows? Uh, there might not be any change. We might just reperform this again. Or it might not, maybe it changes once we get halfway in. Maybe it just quits on us. Or maybe it just, who knows. It's not the amount of time, it's not your time frame that's important when you're comparing previous fractals. it's the price levels that are important. But when you actually have the timelines matching up with the price levels, well, then you pay a lot more attention to that graphic. Um, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna turn this on, right? So this is our bottom. This one, right? Yeah, bottom. I went ahead and I've copied over this uh, this bracket, right? And I started it from this bottom here, which would be if we're following the same thing at this bottom right here. And I ended it. I think I've only actually did this one. I just did this one. Nonetheless, I went ahead and changed it this one. The day range. So I was not targeting. All right. So begins the importance. You can see I took the low. I took the low from back here and I set it at the low from right here. Okay. What happens in between is this price level, it's this price level. It's this price level, this price level, it's this price level. And it's so support and resistances that you see that are important. It's not the how kind of it gets there. It's really your swing highs and your swing lows. So again, I'm gonna zoom down up in this jewel one time. So you got your support line, your bottom, your floor, as of right now. That's what it is. You got it set. This one took longer to play out than the previous one did. Oh, we didn't have to drop as low either. So we we come out. All right. So the very first thing this fractal does is reach out. You can see it. R's right there. I'm gonna get this all set up too. Well, nice. So my magnetizer. Need that. All right. You can see the graph. Perfect. That from that bottom to that is absolutely perfect. We also retraced with that from the bottom of that green with the bottom of this dude right there. Same. So same depth of retracement. Same same rally, same retracement so far. So what if this isn't based off of a Fibonacci relationship to the previous? It may be. It may be still. You still got kind of the same look to it, right? So you've got over here, you got this, and you got this stutter before you make a new high. And then currently we have in a smaller form, but really, like so we come up from here, we have this little stutter because that's actually our bottom at this point. So we come up from all the way up to this point, have our stutter, which I haven't tested Fibonacci on that. I don't have time to do it for this video, but that's something I'll definitely do tomorrow. Is if this Fibonacci relationship equals this one, because that could be a big telltale, like from this spot. But so you do have that, just like you do there, before you have it stop. So that could be this, and this could be its stop. Just like I had talked about many times, okay? We could be coming back down just like we are now. And coming, and we could potentially, you see this. So there's a pretty good support test right here at its at the bottom, going on to set the new lows because it's ruined the sentiment, whatever it is that caused this. This right here was bad news that came out, but there was no news to create the move. There was just news to end it. Um, but we could be coming all the way back down, and so I think 0.0115 would be the absolute worst case bottoming out that I hope we don't see, and that fits in line pretty good at the bottom of this. All right, and then we would be off. But the thing is maybe it's not the Fibonacci relationship. Maybe it's actually going to just follow these support resistance levels. And if so, we very well could be going up and testing 2.6 to 2.9 cents. Oh, that's going to be exciting time. There's going to be people averaging up. Don't average up. All right. And if we break this level, we will retest this level. How much we break above it, you'll kind of have an idea if this is going to play out or not. All right. Wait, at minimum, just wait until we retest it because this is a evidently significant area, price range, support resistance area, right? We break through it, we will retest it, just like we will retest 0.015 to 0.0155. It will happen. Um, we could just barely break above it, depending on Fibonacci levels at that point. We can monitor those. We can see where a reversal is starting and if it matches a corresponding Fibonacci level, and where a reversal should take place. If it doesn't, there's a good chance it's just a minor correction and it's going to continue on its way. With this, it's just a little bit different because this is still, and that I still use that the Fibonacci from this one because it's still lining up to me. I've talked about that many times. There's so much going on in here that I'm not gonna just rely on Fibonacci to tell me if this is a reversal point or if it's not. We start getting up here, and I definitely feel twice as good about doing it. Like I feel confident about doing it. I'm definitely at this level. I'm gonna have something else to kind of back Fibonacci up. Once we once this level is clear though, when we start testing these new levels, I really only need Fibonacci. I don't need anything else. Not to say I don't use anything else, but Fibonacci would be fine. Right in here, I'm not even worried about Fibonacci says because there's too much at stake. On here, I'll reintroduce Fibonacci, but I won't use it like solely. This is critical. This is very critical. Well, one thing I can show you too. I said this favorite bar. I don't have to use. Once I bang off, just do a quick one on here. Um, I don't want to do that. To here. Notice how so we're sitting on that 0.146 here. 1.146 there. Now this is obviously from a different high. So I'm gonna adjust that. 1.146 for the top of this structure here. When 146 kind of hits the top of this structure. This could be the top before this plays out. This could be the top before this plays out. But why did this play out? And it was because it didn't never back tested down here. So we had some moves, but here it just broke out. And this was obviously a a significant support resistance level. So you needed to come back and you needed to test it. And it didn't hold too much support for it. So guess what? Turned into resistance really quick. And it stayed resistance for a while. Right? It wasn't until we cleared that level again that we was finally back out on our way. All over in this back test. It could have right here during this stutter went ahead and did it, and it wouldn't have had to do that. Same thing here. Tomorrow's opening bell has our short-term fate in its sense. Doesn't have to be tomorrow's opening bell. It could be Thursday's opening bell. You know, but that soon, tomorrow morning when markets open, I hope that candle goes down quickly. I want it to test 0155. I want it to test 015. Honestly, it has room. There's 015. But it has room to go all the way down to 0145. Like a comment I made in one of the daily threads last week. There's a chance for a scare drop to 0.0145 or whatever it was. Or maybe it was from 0.0145. But this was, 0145 is still, I tried, man, I tried so hard hitting this for you guys. And I caught it there at that 033 for a minute. Once it broke, I did know immediately, even against other people's better judgment. No, bro. No, dude, bro. Not this time. I ain't breaking 3 cents, bro. So before we got back into opinion on the thing again, after it broke 3 cents, I kept saying 2.5, and I was confident about it. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and that's pretty much where it settled out for the most part. It was right there around 2.5 cents. I didn't expect this. When it did, 016 became my target. Uh, when that broke, I was really, really hopeful, just based off the history of the chart, 0.0145 hold. But that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the last pivot level. And all in all, I'm not too disappointed with that. I got some nice, cheap, on sale shares, and those are going to benefit me. So we gotta watch out for it. This level right. I understand the excitement. I ain't trying to be that Debbie Downer. I don't even want to parade. I'm just trying to open the eyes of new people. Like it's new people to TLSS. It's good to watch this video and kind of see this if you're not too familiar with TA, especially. Even if you are, maybe I mentioned something or shown something that you're not familiar with. But for the new people, you're not going to go wrong in this entire structure. I mean, it's my honest opinion, and just mine. Anything south of 5 cents will bring you a nice apartment. Anything below 5 cents, even this run. And sometimes, and I don't ever throw a lot at it at once unless something big happens, like this, or I could like, this happened. I dropped pretty good. Yeah. But at the same time, like it's a dip, and only about dip. Even though from here, I was saying like, we left at 0.033 line. left 1033 behind, left 1033 behind, we left 1033 behind. I was, but I'm gonna make money off it. So I don't care. I don't care how long it takes me. What does that mean? Why am I spending? I mean, I don't give a shit when it happens. It'll happen though, and I'll sell it for profit. But I could have went. I could have bought this time. And you know what? I would have waited it out. I would sell for profit. Whenever that time comes. That's not a good buy. You know, and that's like, but this whole, I mean, below 5 cents and welcome aboard, you know, um, below 2 cents, below 3 cents, like, fantastic. This is more so for those of us that have been in for a year and have spent a lot of time accumulating to at the bottoms to reduce our averages and stuff. And you just don't waste your efforts of averaging down with your excitement of it moving up. Okay, just just to kind of be these levels. Sure, they definitely spend a lot less time at these levels when you're going up than when you're going down. But I challenge you, so a stock can trend in a bullish direction forever. Okay, it doesn't ever have to be um, in a macro trend like or over the history of the chart. It doesn't have to go in a downward trend. It's gonna swing, but it can come out of the gate on a bullish trajectory that it never leaves. Even in that time, you will have or you will spend more time in a quote unquote bear market than you will a bull market. Probably twice as long in that in those bear markets as you will the bull markets. It's because the bull markets go fast and the bear markets go slow. And think this will be the last thing I kind of I didn't think about doing this before, but so this bull market right here to travel about the same percentages, right? Well, actually, let's start it off from this bottom. Let's start off just from right here. So it took us 168 days to reach that. Let's do this from the top to where we are just currently. Okay, to where we got to that bottom. 686. 168. 686. That's how much time you're in a bear. Those are opportunities you need to buy, you buy, you buy, you buy. Coming up, sure. I mean, you see a big swing opportunity, or not really swing opportunity. You see a good buying opportunity, a big dip that happened, or something like why not? But this is the time for buying. This is the time for holding and then selling. And that's really all there is to it. Um, let's just not forget the importance of this. Let's just remember that we have a lot of work ahead of us. Sure, this is some very bullish news. Why did they release bullish news at the bottom? There's such bullish news at the bottom. Like I don't really know. And so this is kind of they may have needed this. All right, and to me, we're going to such a high profile like acquisition or merger or whatever it is. I wouldn't want to be like, can we make this happen? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need some time to get the money. I'm gonna still be in the talks with them, and I'm gonna be trying to get this money. That's how I'm. Uh, we know TLSS is in that kind of position to just here's the money, right? We know that from food, which is another great buy, but a fraction of the cost of this one, changes are a fraction of the value overall to TLSS in this particular. But at the same time, it took them a long time to acquire. And maybe they went ahead and announced this to get that price to jump up some so they could actually acquire the company. Now, Elliott Waves tells you that during your first wave and your second wave, and even your third wave, right? But especially your first and second waves, the news is still um, bearish in a way. If this is our wave one, which it's definitely not a wave five or three, or if, if this is our wave one, if it's going to be a, even if it's not, you can still kind of see that it's our first wave of this current uptrend. The news should still be somewhat bearish. Well, these are the type of videos I hate doing because I don't want to put ideas in people's heads. I don't want to. Um, I don't want to like disassociate my thought process from like I'm bullish. Okay, this is I'm gonna make these price calls for a reason because I think that they're gonna hit, and that's what my whole strategy is based off of. I'd be changing that strategy pretty quick if I thought otherwise, right? Or I stop spending so much time doing these videos and stuff because I wouldn't be as involved. I'm bullish, but maybe we just needed to secure this acquisition before we lost it. So we now sit down here, let it run up. We have money, and maybe some bad news comes out. Maybe help us, or maybe I mean, who knows what we're. Maybe I wasn't disappointed, and that's why this happened. You know, but then there's some more good news that comes out just around August. Or maybe it gets extended like to the and then goes down. It doesn't have to follow this timeline, but if it spent so much time here, and that could have more than made up for this potentially. It doesn't even have to quite follow this at all as far as timeline goes, no matter what this is. But the last thing I want to show you is let me go ahead and get this off. The dogs are up. Like you can hear them shaking their head. The buffalo calling. I'm gonna get this off the screen. This off the screen. This off the screen. This off the screen. If I put this curve, kind of shows my idea of this part. I'll put it on. My idea means this whole entire here. Let's see what's this. What if it was actually at the and come on. This would be so cool. If this is exactly we didn't need so it plays out pretty good. Um, you can tell kind of here, especially with these big candles going around it, it's kind of maybe breaking through it and pushing back up. And here it breaks and another one travels. And then because we broke over, we kind of shot it a little bit. That very well could be why this even happened back this last conversation. We broke below it for the first time, broke back above it, and just anticipation built, or maybe a little bit from a little bit. But then that news was happening. Now then we broke back through it again and tested it. And we broke through it and then it was off. So if we keep that arc going, back tested it there somewhat. And this maybe be adjusted just a little bit. It's who really knows. It's adjusted kind of like that. Now I can come out the way. So pretty much back tested. and then it shoots up, goes up, back test. Important. It's important to do that every time. Um, and then it goes up. Well, then we had this happen, and then now we just bounced off of it. And see, I was kind of thinking, I kind of got an opinion more along as far as this part goes. Was it wrong? Cool. That's just my question. That it kind of goes a little bit more like this, but we haven't really had much time down here through this for me to be able to really line. So this would be like it breaking it through. I think that's going to kind of be the line, right? This candle body here up through in this point. Well, we're testing it. We broke through it twice last. We really didn't this time. On the daily, we never broke below it. If this is what it is, let me get this on this now and see too. See, hey, it hits that one perfectly. Hits that one perfectly, and we never closed 2 days. We had 2 days, but then this following days was huge green candles, but below. And then now here we are, and we're going up. So we could come down, and we could, tomorrow could go all the way down to 03, 038, 037. Could happen. You could be coming down back to this. I mean, this is a super trend, right? Dating back October 15th, June 2021. I mean, that's 6 years. This could be pretty significant. It's something I just kind of put in today. I was kind of proud to be able to make that work out as good as I did. But say we're waiting on a 015 test, okay? Where could that potentially put us? If the low is going to follow this, uh, what would be the low point to hit 015? I mean, just kind of follow it down. About the 10th of August, 9th, 10th of August, be hitting 015. If it was at 155, we'd be looking at around the 25th of August. That could always happen sooner. If worst case scenario, if you use it, so the bottom can only be this low, uh, you're potentially looking towards the end of August. If did I get rid of it? Or I might have to just back up here for a minute. I swear I just did. Hi. Yeah. Now I'm trying to curve. Dang. Oh. So we're this structure here. If we follow this stutter, that's what I'm gonna call it. Pretty good as far as time goes. It looks like. I mean, that's still July 6th before it comes down to testing. July 2nd. And you're looking at least a couple weeks to potentially a couple months for this to play out if it was going to. Because it doesn't have to follow this exact. I mean, we could be sitting here and this may not actually come, right? It could just be because of that Fibonacci relationship. And that doesn't mean it has to drop so hard because we had bad news hit right here. We're not expecting bad news right here. We just got this good news, and if we have bad news, then that's going to mess up their deal. All right, so they're going to wait on the bad news. So we could potentially, just by waiting or extensions or whatever it is, we could just kind of flag out, taking us to the end of August. It's very, very possible. And I want to go ahead and I just want to get this test out of the way because we can either test it in 2 weeks, we can test it in 2 months, or we can just skip it all together now. We can go on, we can set something like this, and then it's going to decide. Okay, we need to test it. And it's going to drop all the way to 0.155. We don't want that. We want 2.5 cents to be our new floor. 5 cents, 10 cents. We don't want, we want to make upward strides, a lot bigger percentages than this one. Not that we can just make it happen, but just to help you understand. Oh, now I did it. Last video 3 times in a row. Didn't do it. This video, boom, done. Did it. All right, that's that time. That's what I'm looking at, man. That's why I'm as skeptical as I am about this move right here, because I told myself and John many times I won't start getting excited until we cross 0.16, but I won't truly be excited until we clear this process. We get that to test it. That's gonna do it for this one.